Peace and welcome, family. Desiree D. Ray Wise, spiritual healing coach here, helping you to heal your relationship with self, to heal your relationship with others. There is a wonderful portal to power that is open right now. It's really open right now because we are having today the full moon in Capricorn, and it is such a powerful time to open ourselves up to greater self-realization. Um, and I'm excited to talk about this because I've been going through changes in like every area, every aspect of my life. And I feel more empowered by those changes. I feel like I'm evolving and growing more and more into who I'm called to be. And so I just want to share a little bit of that with y'all. Okay. And so there's some specific things that I've been doing that has really opened up the portal to greater power, and not just power, but prosperity, peace. I'm trying to think of another P word: prosperity, peace. Y'all let me know in the comments another P word that is good for our souls and that is good for our beings. So I can guarantee you, if you tap into the practices that we're going to talk about today, that P word is going to come into, oh, I got one, pleasure. Pleasure, right? So we're going to talk about these practices, things that I've been doing that have totally been shifting my reality for the better. And I want to tell y'all, listen, this practice that we're going to talk about today is not an easy path. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's not an easy path. It's not going to be a walk in the park. It is going to require some sacrifice from you. Okay? It is going to require you to shift. And that's the power of the full moon in Capricorn, right? When we think about Capricorn, we think about the GOAT. We think about being the greatest of all time. We're thinking about standing on the top of the mountain or sitting on top of the world. We think about ambition, drive, effort, change, discipline. That's that Capricorn energy. Capricorn energy is Saturn energy. And so this energy that is present on the planet right now really calls us to shift, to move, and to get comfortable being uncomfortable, because it is in our uncomfortability that we have access to our power. And that's what we have to talk about today. Because here's the reality. The reality is that we don't recognize what we are capable of in our comfort. Our comfort really puts us to sleep, right? You get nice and cozy in whatever situation you are in, and it will put you to sleep. And I'll be honest, right? So y'all know I'm a volleyball coach, right? And though I love what I do, the comfort that coaching volleyball has given me, it almost put me to sleep, okay? Put me to sleep on my purpose, put me to sleep on my business, put me to sleep on what I was meant to do outside of anybody else. It almost put me to sleep on what I was supposed to be building for myself. And by the grace of God, the alarm has went off and I've been awake, and I've had to remember, like, yeah, though you enjoy that, though you get paid decently, right? Though you don't work too many hours, right? I still have to build what I was called to build. I still have to show up in my power and my purpose outside of somebody else giving me anything. And so comfort will make you forget what it is you're meant to be doing on a grander scale. So when we put ourselves in uncomfortable situations, when we challenge ourselves, this is when we come to realize what it is we're actually capable of. We start to tap deeper into our power, our purpose, and we start to be convicted in our capabilities. See, when we're comfortable, we don't realize what we can do. When we're comfortable, when we're just comfortable in our relationships, when we're just comfortable at our jobs, when we're just comfortable in how we relate to ourselves and how we manage our own energy, we're missing the opportunity to evolve and embody something greater. And so we're going to talk about how to get out of that in order to really come face to face with the power that we possess. And something that is so beautiful about this is the power that we possess is not one to be used to manipulate, influence, and control others. Real power is all about self-governance. Real power is all about self-awareness, self-control, self-embodiment. Real power is our ability to be a sovereign being, meaning the job, the relationship, the family members, the situations and circumstances that are outside of our control do not control how we feel, do not control how we think, and do not control how we show up on a day-to-day basis. That's real power. Real power, it comes from within, and it's us being able to say, though I am in this situation, though I am having this experience, I am going to choose to be sovereign, to be the God or goddess that dwells inside of me. I get to choose how I show up in this place, in this space and place. That is real power. Okay. So if that's something that you're interested in tapping into, let me know in the comments. We're going to get right on into it. We're going to get into it. All right. I even prepared a quick little PowerPoint for us. I really made it for myself, okay, so that I can stay on track so we can get in and get out. All right. Because y'all know me. I can be, I'll be pulling energy and information from all of these different places. And child, the live stream will be 2 hours. Not saying that that's a bad thing. It's a great thing. But I be wanting to get it in and get it done. So let's go ahead and tap into the portal of power. And listen, we got the Capricorn full moon today. The Capricorn full moon is today. It is happening around 4 o'clock today. So you all are receiving this information right on time. You're receiving this information at the perfect moment to really embody these things and really reflect on these things. And that's what I want us to do today. I want today to be a reflection, because that's what the full moon is anyways. Whenever we have a full moon, this is a time for us to reflect because things are made very obvious. The full moon brings with it a bunch of light. The full moon is lighting up the dark sky, meaning the full moon is lighting some things that were once hidden to us. That's the darkness. The full moon is revealing to us and showing us things that have been happening and operating in the subconscious mind. So this is such a wonderful opportunity to spend the day reflecting on some of the things that I'm going to highlight. All right. And let me say hi to y'all before I get all into this. Peace, I am infinite being. Welcome, brother. Hey, love. Hey, Lauren. I'm glad you caught the live today as well. Listen, so in 310. I would love to know what it is you were doing with that name. So if you want to let me know, I would love to hear it. But what I see right now is either Sun 310. That's what I see. Peace, Jenny. Hey, sis. I appreciate y'all for being here. Thank you so much. All right, let's get into the portal to power. I've already explained really quickly what power is, and I want you to know that this portal is open to enter it. And this practice that I'm going to share with y'all, when I tell you it's a practice that you will never stop doing. This is a practice that you should be doing every day. This is a practice that should be a part of your life because this is the only thing that remains consistent in life. Okay? This is the only thing that remains consistent in this human form, and that is change. The practice of change is the portal to power. Y'all probably weren't expecting that. Y'all were probably expecting me to say, okay, I want you to get your journal, get your sage, get your crystals, take your spiritual baths, right? No, not today. The practice that awakens your power is change. Because again, when we change, when we evolve, when we do things differently than what we've been doing them, we start to unlock greater aspects of ourselves. As long as we are living in our comfortability, going day to day, and you know, the beautiful thing about change is that change makes us aware. When you start to change, man, listen, when you start to change things in your relationships, when you start to change things in your daily habits, when you start to change how you engage with people, you start to see things for what they really are, where the ego wouldn't allow you to really see it because the ego wanted you to stay comfortable. So even though something wasn't working, the relationship wasn't working, the job wasn't working, the eating habits wasn't working, all of that was not working, and you didn't even realize it until you decided to make a change. And so with change, I want to give you guys a process to help you better embody change, because change is hard, right? Change is different. Change will push you. It will. So I want to help y'all to realize how to embody it a little bit easier. The first thing that you have to know when it comes to change is chaos. Now, this is a twofold thing. This is twofold. The first understanding we have to have when it comes down to chaos is that when chaos becomes present in your life, this is your sign. This is God saying, hey, you need to make some changes. Chaos is really a gift because out of chaos comes order. Chaos is a divine messenger, right? What does chaos look like? Chaos looks like you find yourself constantly bickering in your relationships, going back and forth about something. That's chaos. Chaos is you go to your job and every time you walk in there is something, right? It's like you can't come to work and it just be an easy breezy day, but something or someone wants to trigger you at your job, right? Chaos is you're uncomfortable in paying your bills and things like that. You're like, okay, how am I pay this? How am I pay that? Don't know what this, don't know what that. Chaos. Chaos may be your kids just acting out. Your kids just misbehaving. Your kids, you're like, who is this person? This is not who I raised. Chaos. Chaos may be a whole bunch of things going on in your family. Every day, your mama calling, your sister calling, your brother calling, and they're just, let's say trauma dumping something on you, right? Chaos may be a lack of order in your house. You're like, oh my God, I cannot keep this house clean. Every time I look up, it's the bathroom, it's the kitchen, it's the bedroom, something breaking. Chaos. And I just want to tell you right now, anytime you find yourself in that space, understand that is a message from the divine that is inviting you to change something about your day-to-day life. It is inviting you to change how you're thinking, change how you're behaving, change how you're relating. This is the gift of chaos, right? So that's the first hand, right? That's number one, right? That's the first thing that you may start to experience when spirit is telling you you have to make adjustments if you want to embody the power, the presence that you are meant to embody. Chaos. The second part about chaos is that as you're changing, things kind of get uprooted, right? As you're making changes, okay, I give you a great example. It's been kind of chaotic at my workplace, right? Where I coach. And on one hand, the chaos is what told me I needed to change how I was engaging up there. And y'all know this because I've been on live and I've talked about it time and time again. I'm gonna share it with y'all right now. For about 2 months, I have found myself being hoarse, right? Where when I wanted to go live and do videos with y'all, I felt like my voice was just straining. And I knew that this was directly connected to the amount of energy I was pouring in at my job. And so that was the first instance of chaos because I'm like, wait, hold on. I need my voice. I love to sing. I know that my voice and my authenticity, I know that what I say and what I speak matters. So I don't have time for hoarseness, right? Chaos. And when that happened, that was the first message of spirit telling me that something needed to change in my work life, that I needed to make some adjustments. But I thought that it was just, I needed to make the adjustment of not speaking as much. I thought it was that basic. I thought it was that basic, that surface level. Oh, Desiree, just stop talking as much. You know, when you come there, let somebody else lead. Just stop talking as much. That's what I thought. But as more and more chaos unfolded, Spirit was starting to show me that it was deeper than that. And what Spirit has revealed to me was my heart chakra was really overflowing, right? I was giving too much heart energy, which I'm a heart-centered person anyways. But that energy was not being received and that energy was not being receptive, right? Or reciprocated. And so the thing about our energy centers is that when one of them is out of balance, it affects the other. Oh, come on, Spirit. So because I was exuding a lot of heart chakra energy and really giving, it affected my throat chakra. Hence the hoarseness. Got it? So once I had this realization, Spirit said, okay, you got to make a change. Chaos is a messenger of change. And so I was like, all right, bet. I'm not going to talk as much. I'm not going to give as much. I'm not going to have my heart open as much. I'm not going to pour into people as much as I was. Matter of fact, I decided to only pour into people who have the capacity to pour into me. And so because, how often do you meet people who are heart-centered? Right? Like most of the people that we work with, that we engage with, our family members, most people that we deal with are egotistical. That's just the reality. Most people that we deal with do not have a heightened level of consciousness and self-awareness. They don't know how to put themselves in other people's shoes. They're self-absorbed. And so what this led to was me being very quiet, more quiet than I anticipated. But the gift of it is that I don't feel like I'm straining my voice to talk to y'all now. Amen. Hallelujah. And ashe. right? So the chaos came in the hoarseness, and I'm also experiencing some chaos in lieu of the change. What do I mean? So now when I go to work, right, though I love what I do, I'm really passionate about what I do, because I've recognized that I'm dealing with a lot of people who aren't heart centered, right? I've become more quiet. I've become more very by the book, right? I come here, I do my job, and I leave. And I wasn't operating like that at first. And so this change that I have made has made other people uncomfortable creating chaos. And I don't mean chaos as far as like people are like flying off the handle. No, it's very copacetic. It's very cordial. But because I'm operating differently, people don't know how to meet me where I'm at, right? Think about how when you set a boundary, and that's all I've done. I've set a boundary. And the boundary is if I don't feel a reciprocal energy, I'm not going to engage with you the same way. Understand this, boundaries are for you, not for other people. Boundaries are all about if this happens, what are you going to do? Not what you're going to do to other people, not what you expect of other people, but what changes are you going to make when your boundaries are crossed? And so, being that my boundary had been crossed, I've just decided I'm showing up differently. And this differentness has made people that I work with, they like, ooh, she's not giving me what she was giving me. I mean, they're grasping for air. And I just stay cordial and I stay respectful and I smile and I give, but not at the same capacity that so many of them have been used to. And so I can feel, because I'm conscious, of course, I can feel the difference. And people who are intrigued by me, people who are interested in me, they feel it too. They'll come up to me like, Desiree, why you not being all, like you used to be? I said, listen, you are still getting me, but I've just had to understand my energy. I got to honor myself first, which leads me to step number 2 is honor. So, number 1, chaos will happen when it's time for change. And when you're in that change, there's going to be some chaos because it takes time to get settled in to this new state of being. But the next step in change is you have to honor something deeper. You have to honor something deeper. And a lot of times when people are changing something about their lives, they're doing so out of anger. They're doing so out of frustration. And I truly think anger and frustration is just the spark, right? It's just the start to change. It's just the start. I think if we can honor something deeper, if we can honor a greater version of ourselves, it helps that change to be sustainable. And so for me, just using my work as an example, right? Because I'm honoring myself, because I'm honoring my voice, because man, I know who the hell I am, right? I know that when I pour into people, it's life-changing for them, right? I know that my capacity to love makes a difference in people's lives. So now I'm honoring myself beyond my role as a coach or as a coordinator. I'm honoring the gift and the magic and the purpose that I possess. And so me honoring that allows me to sit in this change a little bit more grounded and a little bit more graciously. I'm not doing it out of frustration or anger. I'm doing it because I realize that there is more in store for me. So when you guys are reflecting on changes that you need to make in your life, let's say you need to make changes. Oh man, this is so good. Dream and I have made major changes in our eating habits, major changes in our eating habits, right? And at first it was chaotic because we're like, I mean, we eat whatever we want to eat, you know, and we were just like, all right, listen, let's see what we can really do. Let's see if we can really change our bodies, right? And some may say that it was sparked because I looked at myself in a picture and I was like, oh, girl, you're looking a little bit juicy. You ever look at yourself in a picture and you love yourself, right? Don't get me wrong, right? You love yourself. You appreciate your body, but you know that thing could be snatched a little bit better, right? You know that waist can be a little bit more snatched, right? You know them glutes can sit up a little bit higher, right? You know them arms or that face can be a little bit more slimmer. Yeah. See, that's the chaos, right? And so for Dream and I, that was one of the kind of sparks for me, y'all. I would be taking selfies and that face was looking a little bit juicy. Face was looking a little bit. And listen, my mama did this. She said, ooh, she did this a few months ago. She said, ooh, girl, that face getting fat. Part of why she said that is because she know that's what people be saying about her. That's what she be thinking when she look in the mirror, right? When she look in the mirror, she sees, just fat in her face. And so, a lot of times people be trying to create connections. Even it be your own family. It be your own family, right? But I take it with a grain of salt, right? Because I know that I can change. And I know that I'm willing to go through the chaos of change. And so what that looked like for Dream and I when it came down for our food, it looked like me getting on Pinterest, right? I'm on Pinterest, I'm researching. I'm like, okay, give me some high protein meals with healthy carbs and supplements for pasta. I mean, all the things. Dream and I have been on this journey for a month and some change now. And when I tell you, if we would have only been making this change because we're not liking what we're seeing in the mirror or because we're not liking what we see on pictures, it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. That's just the facts, y'all. But what we've decided to do is to make these changes as a way of honoring ourselves, honoring this beautiful body. I'm not changing the way that I eat because I'm just trying to be slim thick. No, that's too surface level. That's too human. Even though that level of humanity works for a lot of people who are stuck in their humanity. But what you will discover from changing your eating habits or working out, you will discover that that stuff is way more spiritual than it is physical. And the physical is just a gift or a reward or an effect to the spiritual changes. Because to change the way that you eat, to change what you consume, this means you got to address your emotions because a lot of times we're emotionally eating, right? Honey, I used to bake every Thursday. Every Thursday I used to bake, right? Whether it was, I don't know, cinnamon rolls, cookies. I would bake a cake from scratch every Thursday, right? Emotionally, I was using that as a way to connect with the kids because they love doing stuff like that. They love, I mean, of course, everybody loves sweets, right? But also that cake or that cookie was soothing, right? It was relieving. And so I've had to decide to honor something greater in order for this change to be consistent, right? And so I challenge y'all to that. Ask yourself, when you are looking at something that is chaotic in your life and you're realizing that this thing needs to change, this thing needs to evolve, the next step is to ask yourself, what can I honor in this change that would help me to remain disciplined and consistent? Every time I work out, I'm like, man, this is a prayer. This is a form of praise and worship. to God and to my body. I'm so grateful to have the capacity to do a squat, to do a push-up. I'm so grateful to have the capacity to buy healthy food, to eat organic, and to have lots of fruits and vegetables, et cetera, et cetera. That's honor. And whenever you are changing any aspect of your life, you want to find something that you can honor and that you can revere and that you can hold in high regard to support you in being disciplined and consistent. All right. Number three, acceptance. So good. You know, I've had to accept that this is my new reality. You have to accept that the changes that you are making is your new reality. Got it? Okay? Because if you can accept that the changes that you are making is your new reality, you can't go back to the past. I fully accept it. This is who I am. This is me. Man, I'm so proud of myself. I'm so proud of myself. Because even, for example, Dream and I have been on this journey since June 1st, right? June 1st. So we are a month and 10 days in of changing our eating habits. And when I tell you, I've lost 14 pounds. Dream has lost 20 something pounds in a month and in 40 days. Just from deciding, put the cookies and the cake down, put the pasta down, like we've already changed so much. And so it was Father's Day. We was only 15 days, however many days into our journey, and we had went out to eat with the family. And Dream and I had just agreed. We were just like, listen, this is our new reality. We are honoring this new reality. We've accepted that this is who we are. So when we went out to eat, while our family members are getting their drinks and they all of that, now don't get it twisted. We'll have a drink, but more often than not, we're just having something straight. Maybe like some straight tequila on ice or something like that, or or we'll do something with something not so sugary. Like I don't need the pineapple juice, the syrup in it. I don't need all of the stuff that adds so much sugar to the drinks, right? The daiquiris, the margaritas, all of that stuff ain't good for you, right? It helps you to have a good time, right? But it ain't good for your body when you're trying to make changes. So we go out to eat with the family and we're like, yeah, no, we're not getting that. When we went out to eat, we literally had to look at that menu and analyze what we were going to eat. We had to say, okay, no to the mashed potatoes. Let me get an extra side of vegetables instead. Okay? If you want to open up your power, you're going to have to accept the new reality and accept the new identity. How do you do that? How do we actually accept? I truly feel like to actually accept, you have to surrender. Just got to surrender. Just got to let it go. L-I-G it. Let it go. Let the actions, the words, the relationships, and anything that has been standing in the way of you embodying the power, the peace, the presence, the pleasure that you know is meant for you, and the purpose. I got to put purpose in there too, because purpose has been coming up a lot. If there's things that have been standing in the way of that, if there are things that are causing you strife and turbulence, accept that you can no longer live the way that you've been living that has been creating that reality. Accept it. Something that I've realized that I think is so beautiful, that I really want you all to receive into your hearts, is that, man, there's so much greater on the other side of your trials and tribulations. There's so much greater on the other side of of challenging yourself and pushing yourself and being uncomfortable, you know? Like when we fast. Man, doing a fast isn't easy. Whether you're fasting from food, fasting from social media, fasting from certain conversations or certain actions, fasting is not easy. But the only way you receive the benefits of that fast is to, one, accept it. This is what I'm doing for the next 5 days, 10 days, whatever you're doing. Accept it. And then as you accept it and you consistently show up day in and day out with that challenge or with that work that you're doing, when you get on the other side of it, you can look back and you can reflect on how much you've grown in that shift. And you know, something so beautiful about it as well is that after a few days of doing it, it gets easier. It gets easier. It gets better. Your ego is kind of rocked to sleep. Your ego is like, all right, this is what we doing. Okay, this is who I got to be. Let me just accept it. Right? And then when you get on the other side, you realize that you've had more power inside of you than you've given yourself credit for. Acceptance. Next one. No. So good. So good. Whenever you are being asked to make a change in order to unlock a new level of power, you got to say no sometimes. And this no, most importantly, is the no that you have to say to yourself. Man, listen, the other day, y'all, I was feeling some type of way, right? And y'all know when we get triggered and we're feeling some type of way, sometimes we don't want to do the thing that we know we need to do. So, for example, I've been working out consistently for a while now. And this happened yesterday. Yesterday, because I was triggered about something, just being real. I was triggered about something. My energy was low and I was annoyed, really. I was annoyed. And in that annoyance, I did not want to work out. I didn't want to work out. I didn't want to do the work. I didn't want to make the sacrifice because I was feeling some type of way. And this is the space and place where it's important to remember sometimes you got to say, fuck those feelings and stick to the plan. And so as I'm procrastinating on my workout, I start to remind myself, no, you are going to work out. No, you are going to do this, right? Forget how you feel. Stick to the plan. Stick what it is you know you need to do. Stick to what it is you've been called to do. Stick to the changes that you've been called to make. Like my sis said, who said, let me see. She said, it's about remembering the why you are doing it. Exactly. I had to remember that this new journey of health and wellness that I'm on, it has nothing to do with how I feel. It has to do with who I'm becoming, right? So I had to say no to myself. I had to say no to sitting in my annoyance, to sitting in my frustration. Because y'all know that's what we'll do. Because we're not feeling our best, we won't do what we know we're supposed to do. You know you're supposed to be eating differently. But because you got into an argument with somebody, you frustrated, whatever, you're going to go and eat that cookie. You're going to go and eat that cake. You know you're not, oh, this is so good. You know you are not supposed to be dealing with that man. Right? You know the relationship with that man ain't good for you, doesn't serve you or whatever. But because you're feeling some type of way, you shoot that text message. You make that phone call. This is where your no has to come into place. Right? This is where you need to say no to yourself. And then as you develop a greater no for yourself, it's easier to say no to other people. Right? So here's a great example of this. one of the changes that I'm making is I'm not just like jumping and moving just because my mama and my brother call me, right? My mother and my brother, a lot of times they can call me and I'm going to move on their behalf, right? Because I love them and I care about them. But I just was realizing, and it's so funny because my mama called me twice just while I've been on this live stream, right? She done called me twice on the live stream. Let me see. Y'all see it? Mama. Twice. Okay? So I've had to tell my mother and my brother no just this weekend. They call an impromptu. Desiree, let's go to the pool. Desiree, let's go to Chuck E. Cheese. Desiree, let's do this. I'm like, I'm not operating on y'all's impulsivity. I had to tell them both. They did it like 3 days in a row, calling to do random stuff. I had to tell them both. I said, first of all, I'm not moving like that. We on something different. We got business to handle. We got exercise. I got to work out. I got to cook. I got to do all of these things. Y'all calling and wanting me to just move. No, we're not doing that. If you want me to be a part of something, you need to give me advance notice. I had to tell my brother and my mother no. Like 2 times today. And not only that, I had to tell my children no this past week. Twice. To things that I would typically say yes to. But I had to say no because I understand that the changes that we are making, right? If I were to say yes, I would be out of alignment with that change and with that growth and with that power that we are walking into. Okay? No. All right, let's go to G. If you cannot tell, we are breaking down the word change by each letter. Hopefully you guys have been able to pick up on that. Let me know in the comments if y'all been able to pick up on that because it's happening. We at G now. Okay, we at the end of the word. All right. G. Man. If you want to embody power, you're going to have grace. I just had a song came in my mind. Y'all know I'll bust out in song real quick. This is my season for grace, for favor, right? Y'all probably never heard of that song before, but it's a gospel song actually. And it just talks about the season of grace. Man, I've had to be so gracious. I've had to be so gracious to myself and to other people. And that shit's hard. That shit's hard. Going back to my work situation. And I tell y'all this because it's such a beautiful case study, right? And I encourage y'all to make your own life a case study. Make your own life a case study. Observe what is happening in your life and study it, right? Spend time thinking about it, reflecting on it, right? And at the end of the day, in this reflection, always, always, always end with grace and gratitude. No matter how shitty something may be, no matter how something may not be aligned with what it is you desire, always figure out a way to shapeshift your mind into knowing and believing that it is working out for you. Okay? So there's this young lady that I work with, right? Who I have loved, right? Because I'm a lover, right? I'm a lover. I love people. I am not the type of person that says I don't like people. I know a lot of people who are like that, and that is not me. I like people. I like to talk to people. I like understanding people. I like to study people. It's a part of my purpose. I like to pour into people. A part of my purpose is to love on people, encourage people, right? And so there's this young lady that I work with who I've been doing that with for the past year. And I thought it was reciprocal, right? I thought it was reciprocal. I thought we both had a mutual love and respect for each other. And as I was going through some chaos, like I told y'all about, it was starting to become very clear to me that the love was not mutual, because this young lady, while people were slandering me, right? And I'll say this, I've talked about this in Patreon. I am in a position of leadership, right? I am in a leadership role at my place of work where I coach. And so oftentimes I have to tell other adults what to do. And that can be difficult for other adults to be told what to do, especially when they're being told what to do from a Black queen. Oh, I will tell y'all listen, and I try my best, y'all, listen. I try my best not to believe the stereotypes. I try my best not to succumb to the boxes that people place us in. For example, how Black women are just unliked and unloved. I try my best not to do that. I really do. I always try to assume the best. But sometimes it is made clear that Black women in leadership is threatening to people. And I've had to learn that lesson. I am experiencing it. And so as I'm in leadership and I've had to be a leader, right? There was some people who didn't like the leadership. And I'm very reflective and introspective. That's the gift of consciousness. So I'm able to look at myself and say, okay, Desiree, was I out of line or was I not? Right? Were there things I could change, or what was it, right? And so I do all of that and I come to the realization, no, Desiree, you're putting your best foot forward, right? So the people that were uncomfortable with my leadership, people start to talk. I mean, what do you expect? People are going to talk. People are going to have a problem. I don't like that she did that. Da, 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 da. But this one young lady who I felt we had a friendship and a kindredness and a camaraderie, she sits there and entertains the slander. And she entertains the slander so much that I feel her energy shift towards me. And we've all been there before, right? Y'all have all been there before where you got a friend and because somebody else doesn't like you, that friend decides they have a problem with you. Let me know if y'all experienced that before. I know you have. Because somebody else have a problem, now you want to have a problem. We ain't never had a problem before, but now we do. You pulling problems out your ass. Cool. So that happened. And I observed that. I observed that before me and this young lady actually sat down and had a conversation. I just observed the shift. And I was like, oh, now you acting funny? Ha, gotcha. Oh, baby. Oof, God, I thank you. And so I speak to the young lady about it, and I'm just like, I'm not understanding how you are coming up with problems and issues because of something I had to address with somebody else. And she had the boldness. And this is why I can give her some grace, but we're no longer friends, but I can give you some grace. She says, you know what, Desiree? It was easier for me to just be around it than for me to stop it. And I had to tell her right there in that moment, I said, and that's why your leadership skills are not where they need to be. Because a real leader, when they are observing something that is out of alignment, that is a lie, or that is a non-truth or whatever, they're going to call it out. Doesn't matter who's around. So she said that. And a mental note was taken. Gotcha. Bet. And right there in that moment, our relationship has never been the same, and it won't be the same. But I've extended her grace in that I don't come into the space angry. I don't come into this, I'm not giving you the side eye or the cold shoulder. It's still high and by, but the same love, friendship. Man, you want to know what was so, It's so crazy. I mean, I'm still baffled. Okay, I'm still really baffled by that situation. It's taken me some time to settle in to that new reality, but it is what it is, right? But I've had to be gracious, right? Because I understand that I heard a Christian woman say this, and it's so good. She said, "When a person does evil to someone who has done them good, evil shall follow them for the rest of their life." Do you hear that? I'm going to say that again. And I want to be very clear because people that we deal with are not being malicious on purpose, right? They're not having ill intent on purpose. And either way, they still got to pay, right? A person's ignorance does not escape them of consequence. So let me say it again. When a person does evil to someone who has done them good, evil shall follow them the rest of their lives. And that's why I stand in grace. And that's why I'm graceful with myself and gracious with others. Because I know and understand that reaping what you sow is a real thing, right? Receiving that which you put out is a very real thing. And so even when, the owner of where I work and other people come to me and they ask me, "Desiree, what do you think about this coach? What should we do about her?" The literally just yesterday, another person who does similar work to me, she comes up to me, she asked me, she said, "What do you think about that coach?" I didn't slander her. I told my truth. I said, "Hey, I won't be working closely with her, but if you give her this opportunity, it would be very beneficial to her life. I guarantee you she could use it. It will make a difference." I didn't say, "No, don't do it. She don't deserve it." Even though, her action, I could say that, and I could say something like that and be well within my rights to say that. But grace, mercy, these are powerful qualities to have. And so I just had to say that opportunity will change her life for the better. And if you see fit to it, all for it. That's grace. And things like that see, that's the thing. That's the thing about a person that does you good and you do them evil. Wow. Grace. And I'll also say this about ourselves, when we are embodying change and doing something new, man, you got to give yourself some grace, because doing something new and being in uncomfortable situations, it brings out things inside of you that you are unfamiliar with. It will reveal to you parts of your psyche that were unknown to you. And when these things come to light, sometimes we don't always have the best reaction to ourselves, which is why we have to learn to be graceful and gracious and understand that our life experiences have shaped us to be a certain way, right? And so we're going to love ourselves through it. Grace. And a part of grace is also gratitude. I want to make that clear. The last thing when it comes down to change in order to embody and walk through this portal of power is embodiment. And what embodiment really speaks to is being the person you desire to be right now. It's not waiting till the ideal or perfect situation or circumstance presents itself. It is making the choice that in this very moment, I'm going to be her. More aligned, more empowered, more abundant, whatever it is you've been called to do. Because here's the reality. Here's the reality. When we experience any form of chaos, lack, discomfort, uncomfortability, and there's just this flow that is not present, it is a message from the divine that there is a greater reality that you are meant to experience, right? As Abraham Hicks would say, resistance is a great messenger. Resistance is good because resistance tells you something's out of alignment. And so whenever you are working through that resistance and you're making the changes to create alignment, you are being asked to embody now, to not wait. It's what can you do today that will make the difference? What can you do right now that pulls you closer and closer and closer and closer to that which you are being called to go? That's the beautiful thing. Every time you make the choice to embody this new frequency, this new change, one, you're exuding a certain level of power and self-control, power over your past, power over your old self, power over the ego, every single time. And then not only that, every single time you choose to embody this new frequency, you are inviting more and more and more goodness into your life that is aligned with that frequency. Okay? This is the portal that is open for us all right now. This portal to power, to peace, to pleasure, to purpose is open and is available right now if you're willing to make some changes. If you're willing to face the chaos, if you're willing to honor yourself, if you're willing to accept the new reality, surrender, let it go. If you're willing to say no, no to your old ways, no to anything that keeps you stuck in that loop. If you're willing to be graceful and gracious with yourself and with others, and if you're willing to embody the energy, honey, the sky's the limit. You'll be standing on top of that mountain. Okay? That's my message for y'all today. I love and appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for being here. I know that if you could take these words into your heart and you could apply even one or two of them, you'll make a shift. So matter of fact, before I go, I want you, if you have any questions, I want you to put it in the comments right now. But also, if you don't have a question, I want you to put in the comments which one of these segments to change are what you know you need to kind of focus your energy on right now. Oh, thank you. Been in and out, but love this live, D-Ray. You and the locks look gorgeous. Thank you, sis. You are so gorgeous. You are so gorgeous, okay? I love seeing you online. Keep being that beautiful creative artist that you are. And yeah, the locks are growing. Actually, y'all, this October will make 5 years locked, right? This October. Let me see. Ooh, it's giving inches. It's giving inches this October. It's funny. I was looking at some old pictures. Of my locks. Oh my God, I was looking at old videos. Y'all can go on my YouTube page and you'll see when my locks were like this long and they were all fat and juicy and oh God, it's a sight to see. It's a sight to see. And it's funny because throughout 2 of my pregnancies, I've had locks, right? With Kai and Kimmy, I've had locks. And so you also see my face change with my hair. My face getting swole, because I'm pregnant and then going back down and then swelling up again, short lock. I mean, it's just a beautiful journey. Cosmic energy. What if you have a father you want in your life, but you don't know how to transform the relationship? There's so much trauma. First of all, I think that's a beautiful, beautiful question. Thank you so, so much for that question, Cosmic Energy. I would say go through this entire process, internally first before you actually focus on how that looks with your father, I would ask you to ask yourself, um, what changes do you need to make in order for y'all to have a better relationship? Sometimes the changes you need to make are just in you shifting your perspective of him. Sometimes it's you shifting the expectations you have of him. Sometimes it's changing the expectations you have of the relationship and just learning to coexist in a copacetic way, you know? I would also ask you to honor the daughter father relationship. And a part of you understanding the sacredness of the father daughter relationship is understanding that he has a major part of your heart. And don't resist that, right? Accept the fact that your father has a major part of your heart, because that's what fathers do with their daughters. And then as you accept that, I think it will soften your heart to allow you to have more grace for him, but also more grace for yourself, because the frustration and the anger for your father not being who you needed him to be, because at the end of the day, it was his responsibility to be a father. It was his responsibility to be the father that you needed for him. And so you have to have grace with yourself for the frustration that you feel, and grace for his inability to do it. And I can go through the whole list of things for you, sis, from the no to the acceptance, from the embodiment. It just goes on and on and on. But I would say just sit with which one of these aspects. You may need to start off with the chaos of it all, right? You may need to start with honoring yourself, right? You may need to go into the acceptance that this is what the relationship is. How can I make the best of what we have? You may need to say no to engaging with him in a certain way, right? So you just need to really sit with this information and really see where y'all are at. And then I would love to talk with you and support you deeper. So if you want, you can book a complimentary call with me, or you can book a consultation. I think if we could talk more intimately about it, I can give you more clarity and more support. Okay. Change is not hard. It's the resistance to change that's hard. Yeah, it's the fight. It's the fight. It's the attachment. It's our unconscious desire to stay the same. It's the safety that we feel in our comfort, right? We can feel so safe in what's comfortable, even though that comfort is suffocating us, right? And so we have to know that we're safe in change as well. And that's the conversation we got to have with our egos. Let me see. Um, wow, that means I've been watching you for 5 years. I didn't know it had been that long. I love that. Thank you. Thank you for being a part of the family. 5 years is the year, the number of change, right? And evolution. Marie said the sacred no, yes. Embodiment, beautiful. Literally dealing with the same thing currently. Wow. Well, listen, I'm here to support. I love you all. I love this work. And one of the things that my recent work experience has taught me is that I got to focus on what I'm building, which is this, right? Not necessarily on YouTube, but the classes that I do, the consultations, and just connecting to beautiful women like y'all. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. And I was giving so much heart energy to a space and place that doesn't know how to reciprocate that, right? So I'm glad to be back in this space. Listen, if y'all are not following me on Instagram, make sure y'all do that, please. The reason why I say that is because I'm about to do more posting of quick shorts and things like that. And so you can get that short aspect, the quick aspect, the hit it and quit it aspect. And then here on YouTube, this is where we spend more time with each other. Okay. I just dropped my Instagram handle there. Follow, subscribe. I'll follow back. Okay. I'm not that type of person where I'm like, you just got to, I don't even believe in the followership thing. It's really about relationship building for me. Okay. So I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. And I thank y'all for being here. All right. Enjoy the rest of y'all's day. Happy Thursday. Enjoy this full moon. Do some sort of magical practice. Love on yourself. And I'll see y'all soon. Peace.